Greetings to all you beautiful viewers on the internet. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through the 5 golden rules of communication. No matter where the conversation you are in, following these 5 golden rules of communication will help you to improve your effective communication skill, as well as it will help you to succeed in whatever conversation you are in, or whether it's a meeting or whether it's a communication, wherever the communication is taking place. Following these 5 rules, golden rules of communication, we actually support you and help you to have an effective communication. So without any delay, we're going to start with number 1. You need to know your audience. In order for you to communicate successfully, you need to know your audience. Who are they? What do they want to hear from you? And what can motivate them? How can you engage with them with the communication you're going to have with them? Only then will you be able to tailor your communication, your message you're going to pass on, after knowing who is your audience, what do they want, and how do you engage them into having that conversation. You also need to prepare yourself for the fact that your audience is changing as the way time is changing. If you know the world is going around, everything is changing, what has worked for you in the past might not be the same as how it works now. So you need to prepare yourself. If things changes within your audience that you're going to communicate with, you need to prepare yourself to see how you can change too. Like I said, the world you know before is a different world that we are in. Things are changing. There is technology, everything, every day, things are changing. The world is changing and is moving on. The second 5 golden rule is timing is everything. Once you've already got your audience engaging with you, then you need to figure out what is the next thing that you're going to do to keep your audience engaging more to the conversation that you're going to implement. Because the best thing you wanted to have here is to keep your audience connected to you. When you start getting them engaging, you need to keep them connected to you throughout your conversation. Because the reason being is, connecting people during communication is very important, because this can increase the influence in any situation, no matter where the place is, either is a workplace or the public place, in your relationship, in your family setting, or even in a public speaking, etc., etc. It does influence connection with people. It will give you that good relationship with your audience. So timing is very, very crucial. It's very important. You will get far better in the communication when you have a connective audience, the audience you're talking to. If they are really engaging and connected to you, you will have far better results. And by getting people engaging to you, they are really connected to you, and you will get that good result for them to connect back to you. They can engage to you. So there will be like a two-way of communication. This can also allow your audience ready to engage with you as well. For example, if you're trying to send a message, if you're on a 9-to-5 job, you're working Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and you want to message your colleagues or your staff or whoever the conversation you wanted to pass on to, and you want to email them or to send a message either by a text message or via email, and you want to send this message first thing on the Monday morning. Remember, weekends you're off. Those staff as well, they are off. But you wanted them to receive this email or this message on the Monday morning. You won't deliver this message during the weekends, because nobody's gonna listen or respond to you. If you send a message during the weekend when nobody else is working, nobody's going to respond to you. But if you send the message on the Monday morning, if you're starting 9 o'clock and your work colleagues or whoever you're trying to send the message on, they are also starting at 9 o'clock, and you want to receive a message or you want to receive an answer to your message, you won't send it 9 a.m. or even 10 a.m. in the morning, you won't get a response. Trust me. Allow it at least 2 hours prior to the person's starting schedule. Let me say, like for instance, around 11 a.m. If you send a message around 11 a.m. or even 10:30 to 11 a.m., definitely you will get a response to that message, because the person that you're sending the message on will have already prepared themselves. Remember, at workplace, if it's a workplace, when they get in the morning, maybe they've got other activities to do in the morning before they can even start the day-to-day of their business. If there is a meeting or handover they have to do, they need to go through that first before they can sit down and start going through their emails. So you need to bear that in mind. So number 3 of the 5 golden rules of communication is, what you say is less important to what other people want to hear. What did I mean by that? Much communication are predicted in the basis of, let me say for example, if you really wanted something from your colleagues and you really wanted to tell them something and you want to ask them something, or you want them to do something for you, absolutely it's okay to ask. But the challenge is even if you've already found out the timing is appropriate and you've got them engaging, but how do you pass on that message for them to respond to you immediately, to the timely manner that you wanted it? So in order for you to get a good response from your team, you have to prepare your question or your message. Let me say, for example, you ask this type of question. You wanted something to be done immediately, and then you just sent a text message or via email, and you're asking the person, oh, dear sir, or whoever the message is linked to, I know you're very, very busy. Please, can you sign your timesheet and send it immediately now? Otherwise, my boss is going to kill me. You send that message to any individual, they will look at it and look at you and say, who is it? What do you think is? You know I'm busy, and then you're still pushing this email to me. What do you expect me to do? That's the response you're gonna get from the person that you send the message to. Would they send the timesheet immediately to you? Obviously, no, they won't. Because you've already stressed them out. You know that they are busy, and then you're adding more workload on them. And then by the way you said it, you send the message like you're adding more to them. So that's not a good impression at all. So you won't get the response to your request. So I will give you another example just to compare the difference between how you can ask this question in a different way that you can get your audience to engage with you. So what you can say differently onto the first question, you can thank them very much for the hard work they are doing, because you know they are very busy, they are working very hard. First of all, you need to thank them. You need to say, thank you so much, work colleagues. I know you're working so hard. We all appreciate your hard work, and everybody else knows how hard you're working. We all really, really appreciate you. Without you, we don't know where this company is gonna lead to. But please, just to add into your diary, even if it's just 5 minutes of your time, if you can just complete your timesheet and then send it to us, this will also add it to the hard work, all those positive feedback we are getting on the good work that you guys are doing. So adding that to that can also give you a good response to the company over there, from how much hard work you're putting on into, and to ensure that everything goes on smoothly. That would be very helpful. Sending that type of message, it makes them feel so proud of themselves that yes, actually, even though they are working so hard, but at least their work is get recognized by the others from above there. So actually they will go the extra mile to do whatever it is that can improve their work that they are doing. Despite the busy work schedules and everything, they will still go ahead and complete that, because of they have been recognized with the good work and the hard work they are doing. So you see the difference. So the number 4 golden rule of communication is, don't confuse broadcasting and communication. What does this mean? Because the biggest problem in communication is The illusion that people get that, oh, I've passed my message, so everybody has understand. That's what people think. But hang on a minute. Let me just ask you a question. How many times have worked where you heard the word, I've told them, I told them, oh, I've told them, I've already told them. You've had so many times of this work, but actually the people or the colleagues or whoever you passed the message to that you said you've told them, have you actually asked them what did you told them? Have you actually asked them what was the conversation is? You told them, yes, right, you told them. But do they understand what the message was? Never forget that communication is in two ways. Two ways of communication. One person speaking and one person's listening, and then they interact with each other. You speak, I listen, then I can respond to what you said and you can listen as well. So it's a two-way conversation. Have you tried the conversation to go that two-way? I will just give you as an example. Have you ever received some emails that at the end of the emails, maybe there is something that you requested for, or maybe there is something you wanted need for, especially when it comes to IT support? Have you ever received an email where it will tell you at the end of the email, do not reply to this email? It's very hard trending. Sometimes you wanted to respond to say, what do you mean by this email? So you want to get more information about this message, but it's already said, do not reply to this email. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced that. I got that experience a lot. But where you receive an email or text message where the person can say, okay, if you feel difficulties to understand this message, or if you have any difficulties, please do not hesitate to reply. So it opens the door for you to respond to that email. If there's any difficulties or challenges, maybe you don't understand the email, or maybe you just want an extra information. So that opened the doors for you to ask more questions. And then that's the two-way of communication. Wherever you get confused or you don't understand, then you can ask the person so that they can elaborate whatever the conversation is. So don't ever get confused between broadcasting and communication. Broadcasting is in a sense where you can respond to an individual. Let me say, like in the TV, you're watching a TV and maybe they are speaking about something very important that you wanted to elaborate, like you want more ideas on it. But you can't respond to a TV when somebody is talking. So it's like you're not talking to each other. You're just there listening, but you can't respond. So that's the difference. So always narrate your communication to be as a two-way communication. You're talking to someone and you need that person to respond to you. So it's the same way when you're sending an email, send it in a nice, polite way that will engage your audience for them to respond back to you. Is by how the message is passed by. Then you will get an effective response to your email or whatever the communication is. So now let's go to the last 5 golden rules of communication. Number 5, leave your ego at the door. What does that mean? If you attempt to communicate to an individual, maybe your communication failed, maybe it becomes like something like people are not engaging to you, or maybe a conflicts come by there, or people are not really listening to you, or they are not engaging to you, your audience is not connecting to you. Don't blame your audience. I will actually say you need to blame yourself. Check yourself first. How did you pass the message? Did you try to connect them first? Did you try to connect your team before you can actually pass the message? At the timing of when you're trying to pass the message, is it an appropriate time? Like I said, on the timing, you need to look at the timing. If you're sending the message, you need to look at the time of the day. You won't get a response if you're sending a message during the weekends when nobody else is working. You won't send a message first thing on Monday morning when everybody else is trying to figure out how to start the week. And if you're doing a face-to-face meeting as well, you won't start it on the Monday morning when everybody else just come in, or on the Friday evening when everybody else is preparing to go for a long weekend, and then you call for a meeting. You won't get an engaged audience. You won't get that connection that you're looking for. So you need to check, is it the right timing? Or when you started the conversation, did you actually get your colleagues or the audience to engage with you first? Do they connect with you first before you actually pass the message on? So you need to look at all those. And also when you're passing on the message, is it a two-way communication? Did you allow people to engage or to respond or to ask questions so that it can become like an interactive communication? So if you check first to see if all these boxes have been ticked, if they are ticked, yes, then you will find out what is the problem. But if all those boxes are not ticked, then you need to ask yourself what went wrong. So you need to leave your ego back and check yourself. How did you pass the message on that you were not able to connect with your audience? So in that sense, you have to reflect back. Reflect on the message that was passed. Was it in appropriate timing? Or did you connected with your audience before you pass the message? So you need to reflect on how the message go. How did it started? In overall, communication is a very difficult process. But if you do your best and looking at all the effective way of communication, know your audience, know when to have that communication with them. The timing is very important. And how do you connect them? Because if your audience at the start, they are not connected, you won't get a successful communication. So you need to engage them first, make them connect, and then choose the timing. The timing needs to be right when to pass on that communication. And also remember, communication is in a two-way form, listening and speaking, and allow that interaction to go on the room. People have the time to ask questions wherever they find difficulties in the communication. Give them a room to open up, to be honest. So make it like a dialogue so that the conversation will flow easily. So you get them to engage. They know that yes, and where they stuck, at least they have somebody that they can ask. And be polite, respect your audience. So your ego, you leave it at the door. If they can't respond to you, check yourself to see, how do you pass the message on? Was it in the right way? How did you position your body language? What was your tone of voice? All those aspects, you need to think about them before you can pass on your message, and then you will get a good response from your team. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you come this far, if you find this very interesting, please subscribe, like, and share this video. Thank you. Take care now. Bye.